So Innovation Building Maintenance was founded in 2009, but we have a multi-generational ownership group that's got over 100 years of combined experience. So we heard about Mero through some of our industry connections, and we decided to conduct our own independent research, look at your website and kind of see if there were, some similarities in the way that we could bring value to our customers, and those things seemed to line up. So we decided to reach out and kind of move forward and start that relationship. So when I started in the industry, it was a very different landscape. There was no cell phones, there were no emails. It was very word of mouth. When you saw the customers, you got their constructive feedback on how you could improve the quality of your services. And I've been able to be a part of the journey with technology and its implementation in the industry. And there's been hiccups along the way, but I think we've been able to finally find a product that brings a lot of added value and also eliminates those quality concerns and the gaps and human error that are involved with other technologies. And it's really exciting, some of the products that are coming down the pipeline. And I think in terms of quality control systems, we finally found the pinnacle of that with Mero and the software and technology that they bring to all of our sites. Managing quality services comes with its own inherent difficulties. The quality control systems that we were using in the past had exploitable gaps, and we found that they were susceptible to human error. On top of that, unionized sites come with their own difficulties as well, whether it's inheriting troubled employees or if it's difficult to manage those employees because the collective bargaining agreements make that a difficult process. Although we were able to minimize those concerns with our hands-on management structure, there was still a need to eliminate them completely so that way we could provide the best services to our customers. And Mero's technology enabled us to provide them with real-time, data-driven validation metrics that alleviated those concerns for our customers, their tenants, and our management staff. As new technology was developing in the janitorial industry, cleaning validation became an important KPI for many customers. KPI became heightened during the COVID-19 pandemic, where cleaning for health became vitally important in keeping people healthy and minimizing the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace. That important KPI metric was highlighted during COVID-19 and created a fundamental need for improved quality services overall in the janitorial industry. And that really pushed for better quality control systems, and Mero's technology was that answer. Gaps in cleaning validation enable discrepancies at a time of critical importance. And these gaps needed to be eliminated because the COVID-19 pandemic created a heightened awareness of cleaning validation. And if there were discrepancies in the reports that were generated in the field through quality control systems like QR codes or inspection reports, that left customers questioning our service deliverables. And obviously we can't have that because that creates increased cost on our end from a management perspective, where we try to eliminate those concerns by increasing supervision and labor on site. So it was critically important for us to eliminate those concerns. So we tried all kinds of other solutions. QR codes, which had their own inherent difficulties with data usage, because a lot of the cleaners don't have enough data to be able to use those services on an ongoing basis without increased costs on our end with providing them with additional monetary support for their cell phone plans. In addition to that, there was also quality control systems like inspection reports, where you would have a manager or a site supervisor on site performing time-stamped inspection reports with photos and videos, and sometimes those didn't always align with what we were finding in the field. So we inherited a unionized site where there were multiple employees that were basically not following their job descriptions or their schedules in any way, shape, or form. We would have our management on site, and we would find them wandering around the building and not bringing any value to the quality of our services or to the value of the building overall. What we would do then is we would have our management staff continuously work with them to provide additional training or to do time assessments on their schedules to show them that they were able to perform their schedules and their scheduled duties within the time that they had allotted. And this was met with pushback from the employees, where they would run to the union and say, oh, hey, they're expecting unrealistic productivity out of me, and it's not something that we can do. So these challenges were all eliminated within days days of implementing Mero at the site. The real-time data-driven validation metrics showed that the employees weren't following their schedules like we had said that they were, and proved that if they did follow the schedules, they would be able to complete all of the tasks. And this immediately turned around and changed the dynamic of the property on a whole. We were able to show those employees that it could be done, and then they ended up seeking employment elsewhere because they realized pretty quickly that they weren't able to get away with the same bad habits that they were enabled to do through the collective agreement and through the grievance process. And once that change happened, the quality of services increased dramatically, and our customer satisfaction improved quite substantially. So all of the stakeholders had their own questions. The union and the employees obviously wanted to know how we would be using the system, because there is an application where it can be used to a negative point where you're micromanaging the employees, you're on them all the time. If they're having bathroom breaks, are you monitoring how long they're in the bathroom and those kind of situations? So there were obviously those concerns that we were trying to alleviate, and our use case was the best way to do it. We weren't intentionally using the product to micromanage. We were using it as a tool in our tool belt that gave us data-driven validation that we could show and improve transparency with the union, with our employees, and with our management team. Our customers wanted to know how the system worked, where would the technology go, would it be intrusive on the tenants, and the tenants had their own concerns about how that technology would be used in their workspace and if it would create an unhealthy working environment. And when we advised them on what our intentions were, how we intended to use the product, and how the product would be implemented in the site, those concerns were basically alleviated immediately. So Mero was able to eliminate a lot of different factors for us. One of the big ones was there was no data usage for our employees. So when they don't have to rely on their cell phone bills and have increased costs on their end and our end because we would subsidize them for those increased costs, that was a big one. On top of that, it eliminated those exploitable gaps by giving us real-time data validation metrics. It improved transparency, and the big one for us was that the startup process to integrate Mero was very seamless, whereas with other quality control systems it wasn't such the case. A perfect example of that is QR codes. When we go and implement QR codes at some of our sites, it's a very labor-intensive process where we have to go and print out those QR codes, apply them onto some sort of a sticker paper, and then go through every site that we have and put them on every door frame, every bathroom, every dispenser, basically anywhere that you wanted to use the product. And Mero's team, for our startup plan and for all of them that we've used subsequently, has been great. They come in, they take over. It's a seamless transition within a couple of days where the product is up and running, and again, it's just a superior product overall. Mero's team took the ball and ran with it. We gave them our schedules and an outline of who was on the site and what their scheduled hours were, and they took care of everything. They brought in the technology, they implemented it in a very professional and fast fashion, where it was up and running within a couple of days, whereas I alluded to earlier, some of the other quality control systems take months to get up and running properly. So to have a seamless transition within a couple of days and be able to take the dynamic of a building and change it completely in such a short time frame was very impressive. There are a ton of ways that we could alleviate those concerns. There's a cost savings for them, there's a cost savings for us, and then there's the ability to integrate all of the systems that they were using previously into one system. And the great thing about it as well is the scalability is very simple. It's easy to integrate other service providers onto one platform, and that brings a massive benefit. And then that when you pair it with consumable tracking and population density and being able to really tailor fit each individual building's specific needs, it was easy to eliminate any concerns or questions that they had and to prove that there is an added value that Mero brings. Yeah, I can give you an actual real example of how a conversation went with one of our customers. We were bringing Mero's technology forward to them, trying to integrate it into a site that we had already pre-existing and increase the overall quality services that we were providing. And that conversation got our customers' mind running with other possibilities on how they could use Mero to their advantage. They were able to tell us that they saw a value add with bringing other service providers onto the same platform. So for example, security services. This particular customer had a couple of examples where they had a security guard that was supposed to be somewhere at certain times and certain intervals, and it turns out it wasn't happening, and they found out about it when there was a serious issue. A flood happened, and the security guard was nowhere to be found. So when they were able to piece together that this technology would enable them to see in real time what was happening and if the services were actually being provided, it really made a value add to that customer where they could integrate other service providers onto the same platform. Yeah, the scalability is very easy as well, which is fantastic with Mero's technology. The way that the system works, it's not cost prohibitive to increase the services. It's based on the size of the overall building. So adding more pieces of technology or integrating other service providers doesn't increase the cost, which is phenomenal for us and for our customers because they can scale it up on their own terms and bring on whoever they want to bring on as well. Yeah, there is, of course, a potential ethical dilemma on how the system could be used. We don't have the intention on micromanaging our employees in any way, shape, or form. That's not healthy for them. It's not healthy for the workplace environment as a whole. So when we were able to communicate with transparency what our intended purposes were, it was really easy to get them to buy in because it increased our communication, it increased their awareness on what was happening in the property with the members that they were representing, and it basically just made the entire environment much simpler, much cleaner, and a better place to be. Yeah, the fact that Mero is invisible is also fantastic. So we're getting real-time data-driven validation metrics and transparency with the union without having, audio devices or cameras or monitoring systems in place. So it's a lot better that way as well because it's less intrusive on a moral and ethical standpoint. So after the implementation of the hardware, Mero is able to provide us updated support through updates on the software side of things with integrating more services and allowing us to improve on our service deliverables by providing us with a better product. The other added benefit that Mero provided us with was they gave us a whole bunch of marketing materials and customer information that really made it easy to bring them into our properties and to retrofit them into buildings that we had, which allowed us to improve the quality of services, increase transparency, and that in itself allowed us to maintain and keep contracts and grow into new potential markets. What Mero's technology enabled us to do was to highlight confirmed and unconfirmed visits to designated areas within the facility. A good example of that is when we first implemented Mero at one of our sites, we found cleaners weren't following their routines like they should, and there was a lot more unconfirmed visits in certain areas than we wanted from a customer quality standpoint. And Mero's technology enabled us to highlight those unconfirmed visits and change that dynamic so that way those unconfirmed visits turned into confirmed visits. And that data trend showed over the course of the first couple of months of implementation that those unconfirmed visits were basically eliminated and the confirmed visits grew substantially, which was fantastic for us because we were able to show the customers that, hey, before Mero systems we had this many unconfirmed visits in a designated time period, whereas now in that same time period we're getting 90 to 100% confirmation, which is a huge improvement on the quality side. Well, there were tons of added benefits. Of course, transparency and overall quality of services increased, but it also increased productivity for our employees and for our managers. Without them having to drive from site to site to site, it improved our managers' efficiency, and it also reduced our overall emissions in driving from site to site, which was a huge added benefit for us. We've seen a huge return on investment from Mero's technology and their implementation at our sites with, again, increased customer satisfaction, decreased operational costs, and better quality services. And that return on investment is huge. It's opened the door for us to move into new markets. It's been very beneficial for our customers, for their tenants, and for the overall properties as a whole. Mero's been able to help us stand out from our competitors in many different factors. Obviously, improving the quality of services has been extremely beneficial. Improving on tenant and customer relations has been vital because of the increased transparency. There's better communication because of that increased transparency, which has been really beneficial for our customers and for us. And then on top of that, the added value that Mero brings across the property as a whole by allowing the integration of other services and allowing our customers to use Mero as they need to use it. Mero allows our customers to use their software and their systems to their advantage and not just our advantage, which has been to bring added value for them with population density tracking, consumable tracking, and the whole package that Mero offers is really beneficial to properties as a whole, from a cost savings perspective, from a management perspective, and from a communications and transparency perspective. Our partnership has been growing on a pretty steady basis. We've been able to retrofit Mero into some of our existing sites, which has been able to allow us to maintain those contracts. And we see a growth potential with Mero as well in new sites. We're including Mero as part of our services on an ongoing basis moving forward, and we see a huge added benefit to our customers and to our organization as a whole. It's definitely a revenue driver in the sense that Mero's technology enables our customers to integrate and to use this platform to their advantage as well, which we've seen from our customers' feedback that it increases our opportunities and our chances to secure future contracts because we have a more robust quality control system than maybe other competitors may have. Population density and consumable tracking enable us to provide customized and tailored services to them, which not only increases the quality of our services, but increases the quality of services that they can provide to their tenants, and a cost savings with being able to allocate resources to where they're needed and not to areas where it might be wasteful. When we're able to put hardware and retrofit it into existing dispensers instead of retrofitting them with proprietary products that have a huge increased cost, it allows our customers to save money on their end, and it allows us to provide a better quality service. A good example of that is in the janitorial industry, where we're changing toilet paper and hand towel before it's actually completely run out. Which is a waste on many different factors. It's a waste to the environment, it's a waste monetarily, and it's a waste of our time and our resources where we can wait a little bit longer to make that final change on that paper towel or that toilet paper roll. So we're getting the most value out of it, which is a huge benefit to our customers. With population density tracking, it enables us to reduce our overall costs and save our customers money when we know that there's only 20% occupancy on a floor instead of 80%. Or we're able to custom tailor our services to better fit the needs of the property, where we have higher traffic flows in certain areas and lower traffic flows in other areas, so we can reallocate those resources to where they're needed, and that's a huge cost saving and added benefit to our customers. Yeah, overall, Mero has a huge added benefit to our organization and to our customers, and I highly would recommend them to anybody who's in the industry that has a need for any of these types of services, whether it's a janitorial provider, a security provider, a building's operations team, or the property managers themselves. There's huge value in this technology, and I think it's a big game changer for the industry.